Greg, what is up?
Hey, we're
Merry
live.
Christmas. We're live, man. Merry Christmas to all you guys. Happy holidays. Happy
You
Kwanzaa.
can put us on the screen now.
Wait, today is Kwanzaa. I'm on the screen. You're on the screen. Hold
Big.
up.
You can put us big on the screen. There you
There you
go.
go. There you go. You wanted to see my pretty face. Everybody,
That's what it is. Yeah.
What is up, Greg? How are you?
I am good. I'm very good. I
You
don't know
just
what Kwanzaa is. I don't
Kwanzaa.
do anything. I do Christmas. That's enough for me.
No,
Christmas wears me out. It
yeah.
really does.
Look, Greg, it does to me too. I couldn't be so relieved when I woke up this morning and I didn't have to think about going to the store and getting Christmas gifts, last minute Christmas gifts, gift cards. I'm relieved. I'm relieved. I know that, my better half, I know she's relieved. We are just ready for the new year, for a new start, fresh starts. We are happy about that. But we got a fantasy football championship this week, Greg, and we got some people that are probably in it, at least 11 people with us right now that are in
Well,
it. I know
some people are.
well,
People are.
I'm still in one league. I'm in the fantasy championship. It's not a big money league. As a matter of fact, it's one of my free leagues that I'm in with the football guys. I'm still in there with them. I got kicked out the Scott Fish Bowl last week.
You still finished in the top 250.
Yeah, that was nice. I was really
People think 250. That's no big deal. 4,000 teams, buddy. 250 is pretty damn good.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I really had a fun time with it. My team has been hot the last 5 weeks. We've scoring over 200 points every week. So I was thinking we're gonna score again 200 points, and we did, but I needed like 230, 240. Because I left a couple people on the bench that I shouldn't have. Mark Andrews being one of them. I don't know what I was thinking that day.
Well, that was a huge catch he had yesterday.
Yeah, a huge catch yesterday too. I mean, he had
67 yards. I thought he was going to the house. And then I don't know if he slowed down or the guy just caught him, but he didn't make it to the house. But 67-yard reception and not a touchdown.
Right. I mean, Mark Andrews, if we could talk about him real quick before we start. I remember at the beginning of the season, Greg, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I'm dropping Mark Andrews. Isaiah Likely's the new person." Yeah, right. And I know you were on here saying it. I was on here saying it. A lot of really great people were on here saying, don't hold your breath. Like, don't go out there and do that, because Mark Andrews
talented. Yeah. But so is Andrews. That's the thing. They're both very talented.
They're both.
And by the way, we got to say hi to Daniel because he's always here. Daniel,
what's up,
we
Daniel?
really appreciate your support, buddy.
Yeah, 100%, man. We really do. And then, but yeah, I mean, with Mark Andrews, I feel like he's a guy that is entrenched in that offense. He was coming off of the injury or the accident that he had in the offseason. That was slowing him down. And, to get back into game shape as well. So I think that now a lot of people who have Mark Andrews on their team are really, really, really happy because he's probably helping them go to that next level or that next round. But Greg, we got to questions that we're going to help these people with on the next round.
I got to say one thing.
Sure.
You know me. I watch all the Lions interviews, the coaches, the players, and I watch the breakdowns. There was a Jahmyr Gibbs breakdown I saw from his game this past week. He's cutting outside. Now, the Lions' offensive line is very good. He's not getting hit a lot of times till he's 3-4 yards downfield already. But he ran an off-tackle play where the defensive end crashed down, and he did a spin move, took it outside. The defensive end never touched him. He made 10, 11, 12 yards on that play. You need to find that video. It's on YouTube, and it's Jahmyr Gibbs breakdown. Just search for that on YouTube. Oh, it's got all of his great plays. It also shows how important he is to the JMO bomb, because it was a play action fake to JMO that had people stepping up. I mean, play action to Jahmyr had people stepping up, and JMO just ran by us.
Oh, wow. Oh, I love it. There's not a prettier play, I think, than when you pulled off the play action effectively. It's such a nice play to watch. It's really pretty.
Yeah, but it's, you see the results. What people don't look at is what impact that play action has on the players. And I got to tell you, I'm really worried about next year's Lions because Ben Johnson is a freaking genius. Uh, these plays show how he uses misdirection and how it affects the linebackers.
Yeah.
And that's part of what gets Gibbs open 3-4 yards down the field before he has to make somebody miss. I'm telling you, Tip. Let's answer the questions, but
yeah,
man,
because it's enough
exciting.
Lions talk. I mean, damn, Greg, you got to keep rubbing it in. You know, my Raiders aren't anywhere near the playoffs, so you just keep rubbing it in. That's fine. That's
hey,
cool.
the Lions were nowhere near 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, the Lions are they're a great team. I love watching them play. But let's go to these questions. Live for the Day, who I think set a record last week on Sunday's show with Scott the King Angle. He asked 6 questions in a row. But anyway, Live for the Day asked.
Scott took 6 questions from one guy?
Scott took 6 questions from one. You know, Scott really, he's like, respectfully, I disagree, but yeah. You know, Scott, he's so awesome. But yeah, no,
Scott's favorite line is don't overthink.
Don't overthink. Don't overthink. Live for the Day asks, Chigozama Conquo, Tucker Kraft, half PPR, or excuse me, or Hunter Henry. It's a half PPR. Now, for me, I really like Tucker Kraft, but I'm going to lean away from him on this one because he's got a hip injury and he's been questionable. It looks like on the wrong side of questionable because they're going to need him in the playoffs.
And there's another tight end that just came off the injury report for Green Bay.
Yeah, yep. Luke Musgrave's
back.
He's back. So I'm staying away from that. Chigozama Conquo, he did go for 9 in 81 last week, and that's intriguing. And Hunter Henry has a tough matchup against the Chargers. I think they give up the 3 fewest points to tight ends. So I think I'm gonna go Chigozama Conquo. I've been watching him the last couple of days. I wasn't in favor of him last week, even though he did really well. I think he's going to be in this offense. Mason Rudolph's going to keep the ball close to the in the hashes. He's not going to try to throw it too much downfield, maybe to Calvin Ridley. But I think Chigozama has another good game this week in your playoffs or in your championship game. So I would go with him. What about you, Greg?
Well, I break these down by looking at who's playing where, how the defense that they're facing is doing, and what they've done in their last 2 to 3 games. Now, I did everything today in a 2-game segment. So Chig, he's facing Jacksonville at Jacksonville. That should be decent weather. Jacksonville's the number 26 team in terms of fantasy points allowed to tight ends. That means they're giving up the 26 most points. But what really impressed me about Conquo was he's had 21 targets in the last 2 games.
Huge.
17 receptions, 140 yards. Now, he hasn't scored, but still, that's pretty good. Even in a half PPR, that's very good usage. Tucker Kraft I like, but he's at Minnesota. They're the number 11 defense, so they're a much tougher defense. He's only had 6 targets the last 2 games, 5 receptions, 97 yards. Henry, Chargers, you were right, number 3 in points allowed to tight ends. Now, he's the only one of the 3 that has scored a touchdown, all right? But he's only had 13 targets, 8 receptions, 64 yards. 140 yards versus 64. I think the yardage is more consistent than the touchdowns. Best matchup, best recent usage. This seems pretty straightforward to me. I'm going with Chig.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy on this one. Jeb Duffy. I guarantee you we'll get to your question as well. We're gonna go through the list of ones that we already have that people sent out earlier to us, but we will get to your question. Appreciate you as always. It's Chig on that one. At first when I saw it, I was like, ooh. Then I because I really like Kraft, and then I had to go back and look at some of the injuries.
Before I looked, I would have never chosen Chig.
Yeah, no.
When I saw he got over 10 targets each of the last 2 games.
Yeah.
You're right. Mason Rudolph's opening him up. But we have another question. Jermaine Briston, he needs either Bo Nix or Richardson. What you got?
Oh, for me, give me the rookie on this one, man. I know Richardson, although he didn't have a good game last week, he still got in the end zone. He threw a touchdown. He's going to get you the rushing as well. But for me, I just think this goes back to the matchup, and you want to play against these Cincinnati Bengals and their defense. Now, their defense last 3 games has been a little bit better. They're giving up less than 200 yards per game, but it's still a situation where they can get into a shootout easily. Both of these teams need to win this game. Denver right now holds on, and they're holding on to that 7th spot. But the Cincinnati Bengals are tied with 3 teams for that in, I guess 7, 8, or excuse me, 8, 9, and 10 at 7 and 8. So they need to win out. Denver needs to win because those other teams are on their heels. This is going to be a situation this week. This is perfect fantasy football this is what you asked for. You asked for 2 teams or a team that needs to really score or really win this game, because that means you're going to get a ton of points in that game. So I'm going with Bo Nix. So I think it's going to be a higher scoring game because both teams are going to be aggressive and need to score. And it's Joe Burrow. So you're going to get Joe Burrow. He's amazing. So I think it's going to be Nix for me out of those 2.
All right. Well, again, Nix is playing at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Okay. And Richardson's playing at New York. Cincinnati's the 27th ranked defense in terms of points allowed to quarterbacks. New York's not much better. They're 21st.
Right.
So how did these 2 guys do the last 2 games? Nix, 49-73 for 393 yards, 5 touchdowns, but he has had 3 picks. And his rushing, Nix is usually pretty good running the ball. 11 carries in 2 games, 48 yards. That's pretty good for a quarterback.
Yeah.
Richardson, 24, half the completions, 24 of 49, 303 yards, only 1 passing touchdown, 3 interceptions, but he's run the ball 16 times for 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, what you need to understand is in the last 2 games, Richardson only threw 11 passes against Tennessee because the Titans couldn't stop Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
29 carries, 218 yards, 3 touchdowns. Yeah. They had a huge lead. So he throws 11 passes. That's going to hurt your trend. It really is. And there's always a possibility of a repeat. It's very unlikely, but, the Giants aren't all that, so there is a possibility. Mm-hmm. But despite 24 more passing attempts and more than double the number of completion, Nix only managed 90 more passing yards. All right. Now he did get the 4 touchdown advantage throwing the ball, but that's made up easily by the rushing yards and the 2 rushing touchdowns. When you figure passing touchdowns are usually 4 and rushing touchdowns are usually 6. Right. So for me, I'm going the other way. I'm sitting the rookie. I want to go with Richardson this time.
Even when you can get the rushing and with Nix, I mean, you're not going to get maybe as effective rushing.
Nix got 48 yards and no touchdowns the last 2 games. 48 yards. Last 2 games, Anthony got 116 yards and 2 touchdowns. Okay. Yeah, I don't think you want to use rushing as a reason to start Nix.
Now, this is something that depends on it, and Jermaine didn't give us this, and I did not ask, so I should have probably asked him. If it's a 4-point touchdown per game for quarterbacks,
or 3, because leagues are usually 3 or 4.
I'm with you on the Richardson situation, but I play in leagues where there's 6 points across the board. All touchdowns are 6 points. So if I'm playing in a league where all touchdowns are 6 points, there's no way in the world I'm going to go out there with a guy who at one point in this season was like 2 for 15. I'm not going to do that in my playoffs. I'm not doing that in my championship. I'm not doing that with Richardson because you're going to, yes.
Who has the higher upside?
I think Nix has the higher upside this
you
week.
Think so?
I think going against the Cincinnati Bengals, Greg.
Oh no! I didn't say anything about the opponent. Yeah. Who has the higher upside?
I still think it's Nix.
What player this year has scored the most points in a single game?
It's Nix. It has to be.
I don't think so, but I'm going to go find out.
It has to be Nix. I would be shocked if Anthony Richardson has scored more points in one game than Bo Nix.
All right, I'm looking at Nix's games. He's got a 23, he's got a 29, a 28, So his highest game is 29.75 points.
Okay. Let's see what
Okay.
Richardson is.
I'm going to go find him now. Well, I'll search for him. It'll be faster.
Maybe he has a 35-point game in there somewhere. Okay. Maybe I
think he probably does.
I'm going to have to eat this one. Oh, God. All right. I'm going to have to eat this one. I'm still not playing him. I cannot trust that man. I can't trust him.
Actually, his high game is 28.08.
Bo Nix.
I'm still going Anthony Richardson.
I mean,
you got the weather situation in Cincinnati. Okay, you've got the same thing in New York, but when there's bad weather, what suffers more, the running or the passing?
It's usually, well, it could be the passing, but it also could. Sometimes, if for wide receivers, it could benefit them too because they know where they're going as a defender doesn't necessarily know.
I'm still going Richardson. But that said, SBNY, we will get to your questions. We've got 3 more questions to answer that were sent to us that we researched. As soon as we get them, we'll go straight to the chat and get you guys' questions. What's the next question?
The next one is from Trey. It's Chuba Hubbard or Bucky Irving for the ship. This is a full PPR.
That's for the championship, by the way.
Yeah. So what do you say on this one, Greg? This is
okay. So I love Chuba, I really do, but he's playing at Tampa Bay, and they're the number 9 defense against running backs.
Yeah,
they don't give up a whole lot. Now, in last 2 games, Hubbard's had good usage: 35, 184 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's been used in the passing game: 9 targets, 8 receptions, 30 yards. No real yardage or touchdowns. Bucky Irvin, you would think, would be much better used in the passing game, but he's really not. Yeah. They put in Rachaad White for the passing, but he's going against Carolina at home against Carolina. So it's in Florida, so I don't expect bad weather. Carolina's number 32. They're the worst team in the NFL in terms of fantasy points allowed to running backs. Last 2 games, Irvin's had 31 carries. That's just 4 less. He's had more yards, 185 to 184, but he's only had 1 touchdown. This matchup is just too much of a difference to me. Carolina has given up 2,116 rushing yards and 16 rushing TDs to running backs this year. Okay? Yeah, Irvin's splitting touches. I get that. But he's only topped a 50% snap share in 4 games this year, and he's still doing what he's doing. He's only topped 20 touches once, and in that game he had a stat line of 25 for 152 with a touchdown, with 3 targets, 3 receptions for 33 yards. He also returned a kick 20 yards in that game. I give return yardage, so it's important to me. Oh, by the way, his opponent that game, the Carolina Panthers. Now, how did Chuba do that week? 12 of 43 with 0 and no other touches. It's Irving for me, and it's not particularly close.
Oh, well, first what I would say is that if you can play both of these guys, I think they're both are viable options this week. Now, again, that's also predicated on who you have. I'm not telling you to play him over Saquon Barkley.
You think Chuba Hubbard is a viable option against that Tampa defense?
I do. Now, I agree with you on the Tampa defense. I agree with you on everything that you said about Bucky Irving and him being the, splitting carries. And I even went back and looked. Sean Tucker, he's only splitting carries between him and Rachaad White. Sean Tucker didn't get anything last week. So that's first of all, I think that the
Tucker got return yardage. I think
the splits between him, it's not really as big as what we probably were thinking at one time. He's
splitting with White. White's getting 40 or 50%.
Right. So White has taken a back seat, but White is still getting a lot of receptions. The only reason I'm big on Chuba Hubbard, and I'm not going to string this along, the only reason I'm big on him is because he really has no competition. Now I know it's very, very this matchup, Greg, you are right. Anytime you're going to Vince Vita Vea, it's a tough matchup. So it's like they're so close for me. That's why I'm saying I would like to play both. If you can slide one of them to the flex, why not? But I think you're not wrong for saying Bucky Irving. I just want to have the guy who's going to possibly get the most touches in Chuba Hubbard. That's the
well, he'll get the most touches. I have no doubt about that. I just don't think he'll be efficient enough. He's going to have to score a touchdown to outscore Bucky Irving. Yeah, I really believe that.
They could get lucky. They can get lucky. Dave Canales is
doesn't Miles Sanders go in for the goal line work?
No, right. Look. Dave Canales might be aggressive against his former team yet again, and he knows that this team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, wouldn't you love to just beat this team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then ruin some of their playoff chances? I think Dave Canales would love to do that, and
I would love it too because they're one of the teams that beat Detroit. I don't like them. Hey, listen, Paula, please pick 3 of 4. Kendre Miller, Tyrone Tracy, Deebo Samuel, Calvin Ridley, full PPR. What you got?
For me, it's Kendre Miller. I dogged him last week, and I guess rightfully so because he had 15 rushing yards. But he's going against the Raiders. The Raiders have been in shambles from a defensive standpoint for a minute now. We were doing really well against the run, and then now all of a sudden the last 3 games we're giving up 130 rushing yards to our opponents. So I think Kendre Miller gets on this one. I think that he gets in the end zone too. I like Deebo Samuel. I think Deebo Samuel is auditioning for his new team. I think we are seeing a motivated Deebo Samuel. Is still a dangerous Deebo Samuel. They don't have a run game right now, so he is getting running back attempts again. So I think that all lines up for Deebo Samuel to have a really good game this week in championship week. Like I said, I said this yesterday. I was on a show.
You're banished, man. Not this week. He's not having a good game.
I know because it's going to get your Detroit Lions. But you know what? Both teams got Detroit's got. I think Detroit's going to do some nasty stuff to the 49ers. But again, I think Deebo is a guy that can get you some points, especially also if you're in the return leagues. He's going to get you some return yards too. And then the last one for me is Tyrone Tracy. I just stand on Tyrone Tracy. Last week got a touchdown in the end zone. It's a pass, but still got a touchdown nonetheless. This team is not good at all. I understand, but I don't believe in Devin Singletary. Calvin Ridley was.
So who are you sitting, man?
I'm sitting Ridley.
Oh,
yeah.
Why? What did you like about Ridley?
I just don't believe in this offense. I just don't believe in Mason Rudolph. He makes me nervous. Chigozome Okonkwo is starting to come on. They're throwing the spears a little bit more too. For some reason,
out, right?
If Pollard's out, I haven't looked at it real quick. But if Pollard's out, then I mean, still that Tajay Spears gets passing work. I don't know.
He's the only guy on the road. Everybody else is playing at home. All right. Miller is facing the number 18 defense against running backs. Your Raiders, number 18. They're giving that's the toughest matchup of the 4. Okay. My thought is, wow, Paula, you got some great matchups this week. All right. 18 is the toughest. Well, the last 2 games, Kendre Miller, 17 carries, 61 yards, no touchdowns, 3 targets, 2 receptions, 16 yards. All right. Tracy is playing Indianapolis. They're the number 28 defense, and they're not the worst. 17 for 57 without a touchdown. But like you said, 8 targets, 5 receptions, 47 yards, and a touchdown. So in 2 games, he's gone over 100 yards, and he's got a touchdown. And five receptions is essentially a touchdown in a point per reception league. You've got Deebo, okay? He's going against Detroit, who's number 26 against wide receivers. So you might have something there. I just don't want to hear it. but he's not getting that many targets. He's only had 16 targets, but he's caught 10 of them for 112 yards and a touchdown, and he's gotten 7 rushing attempts for 28 yards. That's 4 per carry, so that's not too bad. And then you got Ridley. At Jacksonville, number 29 defense, 10 targets only, but 6 receptions for 119 yards. They're throwing the ball down the field. He's got a touchdown. He's also got 1 carry for 19 yards. All right. So with me, even with Kamara limited, Miller got less than 40% snap share and saw Jamal Williams grab time. So I don't think if Kamara's out that Miller gets the full load. I just don't. Tracy was held out of practice on Tuesday. They practiced Tuesday so they wouldn't have to practice on Christmas Day. Ankle injury that he aggravated last weekend. So to me, this is pretty easy. Check the injury report. If Tracy's out, that's who you sit. I mean, it's a no-brainer. If he's not playing, you sit him.
And I'm checking the injury report on a couple of people. It does look like Tony Pollard was out.
Yeah.
So
okay,
yeah,
and
definitely.
Check on Tracy too, because if he's out, there's no real decision. You just sit Tracy. Tracy and Samuel have the most touches over their past 2 games. Ridley has the least, but he's been the most efficient of the people. All right. So for me,
and Greg,
Thursday, Friday practice report.
Tracy's not playing. He's not practicing. So yeah.
All right. So you said Tracy. Now, if it comes out that Tracy's going to play, then you have a decision. And for me, it's between Tracy and Miller. You're going to sit one of the two. I'm not sitting Ridley. I'm not sitting Ridley in this game. Not against that Jacksonville defense.
Yeah.
One last question, then we go to the chat. You ready for this?
I think you're right on that one. I'm ready.
All right. Ben asks another Chig question. Chig or TJ Hawkinson? Full PPR. What you got?
I'm going Chig on this one. TJ Hawkinson is a part of the offense, but he's just not enough a part of the offense for me. And look, this game, it's going to be a good game this week. I still think that TJ Hawkinson is working his way back. We haven't seen him get in the end zone yet. The end zone thing is really not his big thing. He'll score touchdowns. He scored a lot for in Detroit, but I guess since Minnesota, he's not a big time. He's more of a possession guy. He's going to get a lot of opportunities catching the ball. I just think that Chig is going to have a little bit more. So for me, it's Chig over TJ Hawkinson this week.
Okay, well, we talked about how I do this. And this is the reason you want to get the questions to Tipp on Tuesday or Wednesday so that we can do the research. We're going to answer the people's questions in the chat, but we won't have the research. And this question, to me, is the perfect example of why you want to get your questions to us with time to do the research. Okonkwo is just getting way too much work to sit in what's likely your championship game.
Yeah.
Now, I want to be completely honest, though. When I first saw this, I thought it'd be TJ by a mile. I really did. TJ's very talented. But after doing my due diligence, I think anyone recommending Hawkinson is overthinking or under-researching this question. Hawkinson has 12 targets, 7 catches, 79 yards in his last 2 games.
Yeah.
Green Bay's the number 20 defense against tight ends. Okonkwo, 21 targets, 17 receptions, 140 yards, no touchdowns against the number 26 defense. He's got the better matchup. He's got the better trend. You go with Chig.
Do it. And I already seen Chigoziem Okonkwo's name come up a few times in the chat. So look, if you got a question against Chigoziem Okonkwo, unless it's Travis Kelce already played, Mark Andrews has already played. Unless it's George Kittle or Brock Bowers or who was another tight end, Greg, that you would possibly play Chig over?
Laporta.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
If it's
everybody thought Laporta was going to be great,
if
but
it's none of those guys we just said, and you have Chikazama questions, we're going Chikazama.
all right, we do have a question from the chat. The very first one: Jared Goff or Baker Mayfield, from Jeb Duffy. I'm going to go to you first on this one. You know what I'm going to say.
I think the Lions got something for these 49ers. I think it's like when you see the predator just overtake the prey. The prey is injured. It's hobbling on one leg or three legs or whatever. It's hobbling, and the predator is now just going in for the kill. I think this is what the Lions are about to do to the 49ers. I think they're about to go in for the kill. I could see them throwing up 50 on these boys just for the hell of it, just because they want to do it, just because they don't like them. They know that they lost last year against them in a really, really crucial game. I'm going Goff on this one. I don't think Baker Mayfield's a bad option either. As a matter of fact, if I was in a 2 QB league, I would be damn good straight right now with those two quarterbacks. But because Baker has to win too. But I just think Jared Goff, I think they got something in store for them. They're over there doing stumbling plays and all sorts of weird plays that they're going deep into their books, in their playbook. So I think they're gonna open up a can of you know what on them.
Okay, so the problem with this question is that Detroit plays Monday night and Baker plays Sunday afternoon, and the Vikings and Green Bay. Baker plays Monday at 1, and the Green Bay Vikings game is at 4, which means you won't know about the Green Bay Viking game. If Green Bay beats the Vikings, I can see them sitting Goff, maybe play him a quarter and a half, because they have home field advantage locked up. If Minnesota loses, Detroit doesn't even have to beat Minnesota to lock up home field advantage.
I think no. Okay. I think this game means too much to them.
And even because of last year, I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
but nobody is going to risk their Super Bowl hopes by playing a starter in a game that's meaningless. It's just not going to happen. That's a problem. That, to me, that's a risk. That's a risk you take. All things equal, I would say Goff over Mayfield. I would. But I don't think all things are equal here. I think playing Goff is taking a risk that he doesn't play the full game. So I'm going with Mayfield here, only because there's a potential that Detroit will have home field advantage locked up and they won't play Goff the entire game. I don't think if they have home field locked up, I don't think you're going to see Jahmyr Gibbs the entire game. You'll see a lot more of Craig Reynolds. You're not going to risk it. You're just not. Well, so I'm going Mayfield here.
Let me ask you a question, Greg. I mean, now look, because we all know you are a devoted Lions fan.
Yes, I am.
Do you really see they're going to do that? Do you really think that they're going to sit down the players this week against? Next week I'm with you, but this week, do you really think that they would do that?
Yeah, you know how preseason's played, right?
I understand it. Yes.
The first game, the starters play 1 quarter.
Right.
The second game they play half to 3 quarters.
Yeah.
The third game, when there were 4 games,
right.
The second game they would play half, and the third game they would play 3 quarters, and the fourth game they'd play 1 quarter. Maybe only 1 or 2 series.
Right.
Okay. Now that there's only 3 preseason games, they're basically playing half to 3 quarters in game 2, and only a series or 2 in game 3 because they don't want to get them hurt for the regular season in a meaningless game. If Green Bay beats Minnesota, now that's a big if, but if they do, this is not it's a meaningless game for Detroit against San Francisco. They are not going to. Can you imagine the heat the coaching staff would take if Goff or Gibbs went down to a season-ending injury in a game that doesn't matter?
I'm not going to sit here and say that you're taking that out of left field. I think you're right. If something like that was to happen, they would definitely have some questions to answer. I just think that they are from a standpoint that if you are available to play, Dan Campbell, if you are available to play, you are going to play. Now, I can see them getting up by like 50 points. Like, let's say the score is 50-10.
They
Okay,
get
and
up
it's
at
the
50, it's not going to matter. Goff's already going to have his.
exactly that you made the point.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah,
Yep,
no.
that's it. You
If
made the
they get
point.
up big, Goff already has his.
Just be
But
happy
that's
with
not
that.
my fear. My fear is that he doesn't have to play. They
All
will
right.
play him. He'll start, but he may only play 2 series in that game.
Well,
That's
okay.
that's my fear. That's my fear.
All right,
Anyway,
let's go to the next one.
okay, you going to read it?
I'll read it. Yeah. So 2 questions. This is from SBNY. He says, Goff or Baker? We just talked about. Wait, we just talked about that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we just
went
talked
Goff,
about that.
I went
Okay.
Baker.
Yeah, we just talked about. I was like, hold up, man, this is deja vu. What's going on? And then so he doesn't have 2 questions.
Well, he's
I guess
got
the
one
second
further
question.
down.
Oh, okay, here it goes. All right, come on, SBNY, just put it all on one. That's gonna confuse us. Joku or Chig? I say Chig. We talked about it earlier.
I think Chick too.
Yeah.
I love Njoku. He's playing well,
Yeah.
but I don't trust DTR, or I don't think that the coaching staff in Cleveland can go back to Jameis.
Yeah.
I don't think they can go back to Jameis, which is why in tonight's show I'm going to be talking bad about Jerry Jeudy. I think Jerry Jeudy's a very good wide receiver, but not with DTR. I just don't see it.
I know, man. I don't know what they're doing to Jameis, man. They really
No,
are
once
messing
you
up.
sit him, you can't bring him back in. You just can't.
Oh
do
yeah,
that.
no, yeah, 100%. You can't do that. All right, let's go to the next question. The next question, appreciate you, SBNY. The next question is: need some help, some major
help, not just
major
help,
major help. And from CD Land ruled out. That was crazy. That just came out a couple hours ago. Need 2 wide receivers and 2 running backs. Marvin Harrison Jr., Quentin Johnston, Jalen McMillan, Adam Thielen, Rashad White, Tajay Spears, Jerome Ford. You go ahead on this one, Greg.
Easy on the running backs. It's going to be Spears and Ford because Pollard's out. All right. And White is sharing, and he's not getting the bulk of the running attempts.
Right.
Wide receiver's a lot tougher. It really is. I am not a Marvin Harrison Jr. fan because I don't love his quarterback, for one thing.
Right.
Quentin Johnson, I don't trust his hands, but I love his quarterback.
Right.
Jalen McMillan has been hot. And I think somebody's got him as a put me in coach in tonight's game. So you'll hear why. I'm going McMillan. Now, Thielen's getting the looks. He's getting the targets, but I think he's mid-range. I think Quentin Johnston has the best chance of scoring a touchdown among these. So I'm going Johnston and McMillan. But McMillan's my number one. If I was torn, it would be between Thielen and Johnston.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on the running backs. Those no questions there. I like McMillan a lot, and you're gonna have to tune in tonight to find out why I like him so much. And Greg's right; he's been super hot as far as stringing along these games in a row with the touchdown and being very effective on the field. So I'm looking at Quentin Johnston. Yeah, I know. I like him. I like his talent. I love his quarterback. Like Greg said, it's no question. I mean, how can you not like a quarterback like Justin Herbert? But they're going against New England too, so that's intriguing because New England is really bad against the pass. And this is a game where, look, the Chargers need it too. I'm out on this Arizona Cardinals offense. I'm out on Kyler Murray after being big on him this year. Greg kept saying it. I don't like him because he's a small quarterback and he tends to get hurt a lot. Well, he hasn't gotten hurt, but he shows a lot of tendencies of running around the pocket, not playing, not throwing off his back foot, doing all sorts of weird throws, and it's indicative of.
Are you locked? I think you need to come out and come back in. And I'm removing him, and now I'm going to try to bring him back to the stage. Do we got you back? All right. We've lost Tipp for a moment. He's going to have to leave and come back in. Hopefully he can hear me. I'll put his picture up, but he's totally locked out. We've had bad storms here in spring. Tip, uh,
Oh,
leave and come back. Are
there
you
we go.
back?
There we go. We're back. We're back. I don't know what happened. I know that we have some storms here in Houston, so
Yeah.
I don't know if that knocked us out for a sec or what, but
I
we're back.
don't know how. I don't know how to pronounce this next guy's name.
Oh, oh.
Okay, so
We're,
first
we're
of
gonna we're
all,
gonna call him Have. HAV. Have.
okay, HAV. Yeah. I apologize for not knowing how to pronounce your name.
Yeah. Sorry.
I kind of think he's Vietnamese for some reason. I could be
Okay.
wrong. But anyway, would you consider Brian Thomas Jr. over AJ Brown? I want to know why you can't start both of them. I think they're
Yeah.
both going to be excellent this week. But no, I would not consider Brian Thomas Jr. over AJ Brown. Since AJ's raised the stink, he's been getting targeted. And so he is a extremely talented guy. I would definitely go with AJ over
Are,
Brian, but I'd try to get them both in. What about you,
are
Tim?
you a little nervous about Kenny Pickett? Because I'm not. I mean I'm nervous about Kenny Pickett as far as if you were starting him as a quarterback for fantasy, but I'm not nervous of AJ
How
Brown
many
getting the ball.
targets did AJ get last week?
Yeah, AJ Brown last week had another good week, and Kenny Pickett played majority of that game. He
Yes,
got
he did.
15 targets. He got 15 targets and
So
touchdowns.
what does that tell you
I'm
about
not.
Kenny Pickett?
Yeah,
He's going to
Kenny
throw
Pickett.
to AJ.
He's gonna get to. He's gonna give him the ball, and I think you got to play both of these players honestly, because Brian Thomas Jr. has been just about one of the hottest wide receivers out there. He's smooth, man. He's so. You know, I even put a post out there a couple weeks ago. I said he's already 5-year vet smooth. Like some of the routes that he runs are crisp. They're to the T. They look great. So anyway, I'm really big on him. So I think you play both of them. You definitely don't see
If you
AJ Brown.
can, if you
Yeah.
can. Now,
Why
have
wouldn't
also
you?
well, you maybe he's got Jamar Chase and he
They
doesn't
got
have a
Jamar
flex
Chase.
and no
CD's out.
flex. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
hey,
too. Yeah.
Have also wants to know CD out. You like Debo, Jaden Reed, Devonta Smith, or Swift? And I got to tell you here, I swore off Jaden Reed. I did. And Devontae Smith with Kenny Pickett in scares me. Pickett focused on AJ.
Yeah.
I love Devontae Smith's talent, but can you look real quick and tell me what he did last week?
Devonta Smith?
Yeah.
I surely
This is
can.
why I like to be able to research these because I would guess that he had a down week.
No, he moderate. He had 8 targets, 51 yards, no touchdown. So it was moderate.
Yeah. So if I'm trying to replace CD, I need more than that.
Yeah, he's taken a back seat to the Saquon Barkley situation and the now AJ Brown situation because AJ opened his mouth. So he's the one that kind of took a back
I
seat.
would probably go with Debo or Swift here. And
Yeah.
as a Lions fan, I hate DeAndre Swift. I just it's a personal thing. It's not a talent thing. So I would probably start Debo here. 26 ranked defense, Detroit against wide receivers. I'd probably go with Debo here. But man, I don't like any of these choices this week. Do you?
Yeah, no, they're really tough choices. I don't. You even got me saying the yeah, no. So no, these are really bad ones. But I think Debo is the one that I would recommend too, in this one because I think that he is he's auditioning for his next team, or if he stays with the 49ers, maybe even auditioning for them. He's just going to have to take a pay cut. So yeah, I think he's big time auditioning. So great question on that one. He said,
"Hey, I got to call something out before you go to the next question."
Oh yeah,
I'm going to put it up in here. We're sponsored by the Sports Affiliation, folks, and they have a YouTube page. Go if you search on YouTube for the Sports Affiliation and you sign up with notifications. They cover all sports, basketball. I mean, it's a full service site. They do betting. I don't do betting, but they do. All right. So go over, give them a like, a follow, and a notification turned on, so you can do that. But Okay, you're
And
going to
wait,
get to read.
and wait, Greg, we don't do betting, but we are going to give you some prop bet calls on the Idjit call of
Well, yeah, we will do
we're
that.
going to give you
But
some prop
but we
bets.
got Terry up, and what's Terry want to know?
Terry wants to know Keenan over JMO, Dobbins if playing, or McMillan. I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't. I like Keenan Allen this week, but I wouldn't play him over JMO. He's always a bet to get a 40-yard bomb each week. So
He's always a bet to get about 8 points.
yeah,
That's what
yeah.
Keenan's good for. It's about 8 points.
JMO,
JMO showed 104, 5 catches, 143 and a touchdown last week.
Yeah, I
JMO's getting used. I don't think Dobbins is playing. I haven't seen that he's come back. So I would go with McMillan. And Dobbins' first week back after missing, half the season? I'd want to see him before I'd start him over McMillan. McMillan has been hot.
Well,
So
they ruled out Edwards. So Edwards.
I know that, and I'm getting excited that Kimani might get some touches this week.
Yeah, it's funny because
he's looked good when they've given him the ball. They just don't give it to him enough.
Oh, Kimani Vidal.
Yeah,
he has. I mean, definitely J.K. was the guy in that locker room. But yeah, I will say this: Edwards, he had that 44-yard rush last week, the longest in the last 5 years, and now he's out. So that's what that should tell you. That should tell you something, people. I think on this one, I still go McMillan because he's just been so hot. Again, you guys are going to have to tune in later to the Thursday checkdown at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock Eastern. You check that out, and we'll talk a little bit more about Jalen McMillan.
So we're not really going to answer this because we've already answered it, Matt. We both went with the Conquo. He's just been too hot recently.
Yeah, we both went with a Conquo. Oh, okay. And then what's up, Pete? Bear fan Pete.
Hey, Pete.
What's up? The Joker was also limited up until game time and played and had a good game. Yeah, but not against the Conquo. I think that's the one that was against the Conquo. I'm still gonna go with Chigazam.
We do have another one from Matt that we can do though.
All right.
Drake London, Brian Robinson Jr., or Juwan Jennings in the flex.
Well, if you can answer, Matt, and let us know how many you can pick from. I'm just going to assume it's one, and if it's
one, and I'm assuming it's full PPR.
Yeah, and if it's full PPR, I'm gonna go Jennings in this one because I still think that the Detroit Lions are going to monkey stomp the 49ers, but I do think that the 49ers are going to show some signs of life at some point throughout the game. And I think Juwan Jennings will get some, he'll get the yardage, he'll get some receptions. It'll be a good PPR situation, especially if this is PPR. So I'm going to go with Juwan Jennings here. I do like the Brian Robinson situation, but I don't like him fumbling. Yeah, that's not good. That's not going to fly with that team. I know they won that game last week, but that definitely wasn't because of him. And Drake London, I still want to see more from Michael Penix. I'm actually going to watch. I think I'm going to watch a little bit of Michael Penix, like in depth tonight after the game. I think I'm going to really sit down and watch what he did.
Juwan Jennings has disappeared.
He has
disappeared. Brian Robinson Jr. I went with him last week and he let me down. Drake London has been a disappointment, but I like Michael Penix. I do like him. And
what have you seen? What have you seen in Michael Penix, Greg? I mean, because you saw more. I'm going to watch some more.
I just like the kid's presence in the pocket.
Okay.
He doesn't fluster, but he's a rookie, so he's going to focus on one receiver. Mm-hmm. And I think Drake London is the one he's going to focus on. It could be Darnell Mooney. I don't think it'll be Pitts.
Oh my God! Did you see that drop he had last week? I mean, come on, dude.
Don't even want. I gave so much credit to Kyle Pitts because of his rookie year, and he has done nothing since that rookie year. But I think Drake London is legitimately a talented receiver. And if he gets 10, 12 targets, he's playing against Washington, right?
Right.
Atlanta, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like that matchup. I don't think Washington's that great of a pass defense. Now, again, if you give us enough time to research this stuff, I could give you a better answer. But I'm going Drake London here.
And yes, all right, that's fine. I say Jennings. Greg says like Drake London. And Matt, did you really seriously just ask this question? You're playing Josh Allen, no, regardless, dude.
Well, wait a minute. What if Allen doesn't play? You have to worry in week 17 that
maybe
look at the standings. There is nothing Buffalo can do to improve their playoff chances.
That's true. Now I can see Buffalo as a team doing that. I can see the Chiefs. Oh, excuse me.
Knicks has to play.
Doing that.
Knicks has to play because they're fighting for a playoff
That's
spot.
true. I didn't consider that.
So I think it's a valid question.
My bad.
I agree with you. Jeff, I agree with you. There's no way I'm going to sit Josh Allen, second-ranked fantasy quarterback just behind Lamar, in my championship game. Because even if Buffalo sits him, at least I can say I didn't know they were going to do that.
Well,
so I don't feel so bad.
No. Here's even a better scenario, Greg. Like, okay, if they're going to sit him, you're going to start to hear reports, especially if he's not playing in this game, which I think he'll play. But you'll start to hear reports. You'll start to hear rumblings of, hey, they may limit Josh Allen. They may not play him the full game. You'll hear some beat reporter get a hold of that, and that will be flashed up there. And I guarantee if I hear about it, I will tweet something like that because that's new news that's relevant to people that are still in the championship. So I think that is something that you definitely would. But I still think it's Josh Allen until you hear news otherwise. Then it's Josh Allen.
I go with Josh Allen just because I can take that loss. I can't take the loss if I start Knicks and Allen goes off.
Yeah.
I just can't take that.
Sniper Mel, what's up?
Well, what's she got?
She's got pick 2, Romeo Wicks, Ray, or Puka. Okay, it's Puka, no question.
Yeah, to me it's Puka and Romeo.
Yeah, I like Romeo. But man, it's just so you pick your poison.
Romeo's going to get you 10 to 12 points. That's what you're going to get.
Yeah. I think he's.
I don't think Wicks gets you anything. And Ray McLeod is the third receiver on the Atlanta team that's got a rookie quarterback. So I'm going Puka for sure, and I'm going Romeo next.
Yeah, that's good.
She says not a big if, Greg. I'm not sure what she's referring to. If Allen sits, maybe.
Oh, I don't know. Great listen to the show, gentlemen. This is 3 Vets podcast. Oh, is that the guy you talked to?
Triple Threat. Oh, yeah, that is.
Is that the dude?
So
okay.
Triple Threat Vets podcast is my new friend, Ty, I believe his name is, that Janie collects presents for Toys for Tots. She goes and buys them when they're on sale all year long. She stuffed them under our bed, so I never know how many there are. We took 45 minutes loading the car. There were so many. Ty helped us with with unloading the car at the VFW. So let me go. I'm going to make sure I've got this right. Yeah, Ty Cobb. I should remember that name. Ty Cobb, the Detroit man.
There's no way his name is Ty Cobb.
Ty Cobb, yeah. So we were trying to get Ty on tonight's show, but I didn't hear back from him in time. So we'll get him on some other time. But
cool, yeah.
And I'm hoping to get on Ty's pod before I leave.
I wonder who Ty was named after. Okay, let's go.
Ty Cobb. Who else?
Let's go to the next one. So we have start 2. DJ Moore, Cortland Sutton, and Breece Hall. Ooh, Greg, I'm gonna let you go with this one first.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, please.
I almost always take running backs over wide receivers.
Yeah.
Just because more opportunities. So I'm going to go with Breece Hall. Cortland Sutton has looked horrendous the last couple weeks. DJ Moore has looked horrendous the last couple months.
Right.
So I'm going to go Sutton and Hall.
Yeah. I think you're right on this one too. Yeah, you just can't trust that Chicago Bears offense right now. It's really I trust the Denver Broncos offense way more than I trust them. Brees Hall, I don't trust the Jets running game, but I agree with Greg. He's a running back. Assuming that he's gonna play, he should play. You know, last year the Jets did something weird with him at the end of the season when they gave him like 30 touches. I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that he's going to be, you know, the whole team has been crazy. The lack of running that they've been doing, especially with the quarterback coming back from an injury like that. So it was a shame. But anyway, yeah. So we're going to go
You see
with.
what you see what Mel said?
Oh, she's
The
a
big
Vikings
gift was
versus Packers.
about the
Oh,
Vikings
the back.
losing to the Pack. Matt, for those that don't know, we have a Vikings fan in JC, and we have two Packers fans at the sports affiliation in Sniper Mel and Iggy, our show producer on Thursday nights. So, and I'm a Lions fan, and you got Tipp, who's a Raiders fan.
And wait,
So,
no, you got Pete. Pete is a Bears fan.
Bears fan, yeah.
So you got all the NFC North is represented.
I'm going to put this up, but Ty, we were very happy to do it. I donate to an orphanage in Thailand, and I donate to a family in the Philippines every Christmas. So anything we can do for American kids that might not have as good a Christmas, I just say we do it. But we've only got 5 minutes left. I think we should do the Idris stuff real quick.
Yeah, let's do the Idris stuff. I'm looking for it right now.
Okay, while you're looking for it, start one defense, Seahawks or Cowboys. Hurts is questionable.
I'm going.
I don't know who the Seahawks are playing.
Yeah, I know.
Cowboys are playing the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit them all. I'll just.
I'm going with Seahawks. I think that even if Hurts is questionable, Saquon has a huge day.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Greg, I know I said you got it.
I got
okay,
it.
I know I said them.
Call of the week. Baker Mayfield, 256.5 passing yards.
Yeah, for me, I'm going over on that one. I think he's going to get it.
I went over. He's done it three games in a row with as few as 27 passes in one game.
Okay.
Jackson Smith and Jigba, 70.5 receiving yards. Over or under, Tipp?
They made an emphasis as to getting DK Metcalf the ball last week. They didn't really do that, but he did get the touchdown, so we can say that. I think that Jackson Smith and Jigba does not get it tonight. That Chicago Bears defense is pretty tough. So I'm gonna go against it. I think that they both are a little lackluster.
He's been over 7 weeks in a row.
I know, but the Bears
went under.
Yeah,
I went under.
Yeah,
the reason I went under is location.
That too.
I'm looking for a house, and that's all I ever hear. Location. Kyren Williams, 22.5 rushing attempts.
This one was intriguing. I want because you've been talking about Blake Corum all season long,
but he's not getting any touches.
He's not. So I'm gonna go under on this one just because I know he's not getting enough touches, but this is a game where you're gonna need it's gonna be a grinded out game. You need to win this game. The LA Rams do. They don't need to, but they do want to win this game. So I think that they know that they're gonna be in the playoffs. They've pretty much won this division, I believe. So they know that Kyren Williams is going to be a key part of what they need in the playoffs. So I think that we start to see, we've been seeing Blake Corum get on the field and play a little bit, but I think we start to see a closer touch these next couple of weeks for him. So I think he doesn't get it.
Kyren Williams' last 3 games, 29, 29, 23.
That's too much.
That's a heavy load.
That's too much.
And he did play this team earlier in the year. He had 12 carries in the first meeting. I went under as well. Yep. We've agreed on everything so far.
Yeah.
Chuba Hubbard, 74.5 rush yards.
This is the one I'm going over. I know the Vita Vea, we talked about it earlier, but I'm going over on this one. I just think that he's going to deliver again this week. It's not going to be much over that, but I think he does go over.
All right, so his last 4 games, under, over, under, over. It's time for him to go under. And his last game against Tampa Bay, 12 carries for 43 yards. I went under. This is the one we differ on. This is it. You got to write her down. All Jamar Chase, 91.5 receiving yards. Over. I went over because both quarterbacks are nursing injuries.
That was should be 150.
They're both practicing. Yeah, but they both have been limited.
I don't care who's playing against Jamar Chase right now.
Yeah, it's 2 catches for 92 yards. So, I went over as well. So the Chuba Hubbard one is our Idjit call of the day. How did we do last week, by the way?
Last week I was the Idjit. I got.
Isn't that true every week?
Oh, stop.
No. Don't you owe me like 10 lobster dinners?
No, because you owed me 3 of them, and then I owed you 1, so that took away 2. Then you owed me another 3. So
you're lying. You're lying. All right. I told you, if you come to the Philippines, I will buy you a lobster dinner. Whether I owe it to you or not, I will do that. All right. Standard league, Pollard or Swift. Pollard's probably not playing, Richard. Go with Swift.
Yep. Let's do it.
And is that the last one?
And guys, look.
Pick 2, Keenan Kupp, Garindo. Pick 2, Keenan Kupp, Garindo.
Garindo's out.
Yeah, Isaac Garindo.
Yeah, Garindo's out. My guy, Mr. Magic.
Is he out?
He was out last week. I think they were floating around putting him on IR. I will double check that right now.
Double check that because if he's playing, I'm going Garindo and Kupp. If he's not, then it's easy. It's Kupp.
It said he was limited on Thursday. My bad. So he was limited on
Thursday.
Thursday.
So I'm going Garindo and Kupp.
Well, I'm still. Yeah, no, I'm going Kupp for sure, and I'm going Keenan. Yeah, I'm going Kupp and Keenan. Yeah.
All right. There's tonight, Greg. I'm going to go watch that game. We have our Thirsty check down in a little bit over an hour, or is it an hour exactly?
No, it's 58 minutes.
All right. We have our Thirsty check down in an hour, and then after that, I'm assuming JC and Iggy are going to do a watch party that you're welcome to join in. They're always fun. I usually can't, but last week I actually did, Monday I think. I did because I saw JC by himself, and it's hard to talk for an hour by yourself. So I figured
they do it for more than an hour, right?
I don't know.
Oh,
they usually do an hour and a half or so, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we will be back in, like Greg said, 57 minutes now, and we got a really cool show for you guys, so hope you jump in and check it out. Oh, wait, Joshua has a question. Let me see. I just saw it pop up. All right, real quick, Joshua. Ford, Keenan Allen, Debo, or Neighbors? I'm going Ford, and I'm going Debo. Yeah. Oh, he has one more. Yeah,
I'm doing Ford and Neighbors.
Ford and Neighbors is good. Yeah, okay.
Neighbors is still getting targets even with no quarterback.
We can both say Ford is easy.
Yes.
All right. Peace, guys. We'll see you in a little bit. We're out.